Ashley, Scrapping Nerd, and I'm back today with a layout for Scraptember. And today's ingredient is enamel dots. And so I decided to use my collection, the Simple Stories Sunny Days, and I have the ephemera bits, the chipboard elements, and the sayings. And I keep forgetting to mention that I get my kits or my collections a lot of the times in my creative scrapbook kit that I get monthly. And this one, I don't remember if this is the August kit or the July kit that we got, the Sunny Days collection. And then I pulled in some enamel dots in yellow, and I also pulled in some black ones because I wasn't sure which ones I would use, but I actually only end up using the yellow ones. But like I said, the Sunny Days collection is fun. It's a very bright collection, and I really like the idea of the different patterns. And so I pulled in this back paper that had like these lines of the different colors, and I wanted that to be at the bottom. And so I turned my paper around, and I was set to go with having those at the bottom. And then after I was starting to glue things down, I realized that the paper also had some writing on it. And so these colored stripes were made to be put at the top of the page. And so you'll see I will do some finagling with my embellishments to kind of hide the fact that those words are upside down, because I really just liked the idea of having the color stripes at the bottom. And then I took this other paper here with the little sun pattern, and I keep a plastic plate in my scrap room just to use as a template for a circle. And so you saw I traced half of it, and it has a huge crack on it, and I probably should get a new one, but I'll probably crack the next one because I pushed too hard on the middle part, but it still will trace a perfect circle for me. And because I didn't cut it with a Cricut, and for some reason fussy cutting circles are hard for me, I can always see that it's not a crisp fussy cut line. So I usually will always distress the circle if I cut it out myself. And so I distressed this half circle, which then in turn meant that I would distress all my other elements. And so I cut a strip of this colorful patterned I don't know, grid, or it's not really a grid, it's not really a stripe or a chevron, so we'll just say a colorful patterned paper. And I decided to make a flag banner that goes across the bottom and kind of hides that it's not a full circle that I cut, just half a circle. And I really like how this turned out. Like I said, I love the different patterns and trying to combine as many of the patterns that I can. And so having this flag banner just got that extra pattern on here, and then it also has all the colors for everything else that I put in there. And so I used the cut aparts to back my photo, and you can see at the bottom there's a little bit of the orange showing, but I will also cover that up. And then I used another of the cut aparts, well, most of the cut aparts, to just add some layers to my photo. And of the yellow sun paper that I cut the circle out of, the backside was these clouds. And so I fussy cut out a couple of the clouds, and then I will distress them. I'm only showing you that I cut out one of them, but in the end I will have cut out 4 of them and distressed all of them. And I just really like these as the clouds because it has all the patterns from the collection in it, and so then it matches the patterns that I will pull in throughout the layout and the colors from all the ephemera and things like that. And so these clouds worked perfect. And I thought I was going to put them, again, I was like, okay, I need to have something up here to cover some of the writing. And so you can see I thought I was going to put it in the middle, and then I have these ones off to the left because I thought, okay, I'll put them over there, but they will move, and you'll see. Here I'm just adding some more of those cut aparts from the cut apart page as just layers behind my photo. The floral one was left over from when I cut the strip, and so it wasn't a full cut apart, but it was just enough to add that floral layout and pull in some more of those colors. And then from the sticker sheet, there was this scalloped border that was the polka dots, and so I wanted to use that. And for some reason, the borders are never 12 by 12. And so it doesn't matter. And so anytime I use a border from a sticker sheet, usually I will cover the middle somehow so that I can cut them apart. And so it looks like the border goes all the way across the page, and there'll just be that center little spot here that will be covered up that shows that I split that up. And it never fails. It's always from a sticker sheet. I think the only time that I have a full 12-inch banner is usually like all my K & Company banners from, millennia ago. I feel like those are always 12 by 12, but not on the sticker sheets. It's like it doesn't account for the edges where it doesn't reach. And so anytime it's a sticker banner, I usually have to cut it and then cover it up somehow. But now I'm just going through all of the ephemera and pulling it in. I use the word fun to cover up that little piece of orange that was in the from the cut the cut apart that I used to back the photo. And I'm just scrapbooking. This is a photo of my husband and I. We are at St. Thomas, and we're in Megan's Bay, and we are just, hanging out and swimming in the ocean. And so it's just there's nothing particular about this photo. I didn't need any kind of title or anything because it's within my St. Thomas part of my album. And so this was just kind of a fun one. And you can tell because I just started putting a lot of the ephemera on here, like this little VW bus that I put at the bottom. Do I need that on this layout? No. Does it go with anything to do with this layout? No. But I just had to have it. I thought it was so cute and it just looked good there. And, none of the ephemera bits have anything to do with the ocean or swimming in the ocean or being on vacation. And so that's different too. I'm trying to not be so theme oriented when I scrapbook, trying to get more of my stuff used up. And I think not being so hyper focused on the theme of the layout is helping me do that. And like I said, I just loved this VW bus. That is like my dream car. Now it does have a surfboard on top of the VW bus, so you could argue that's sort of ocean oriented, but it was just perfect. And because that was green, I pulled in a couple green, like I put the sticker, the little the little tab that's green above the photo there, and then I'll pull in some wordy bits that are green, and then there's sunglasses that are green, but just because I had to have the VW bus on there. And then you could see up there where I put smile, and then I put different strips of some scrap paper patterns up there. That's because that's where one of the upside down writing was, and so I felt like that helped to kind of cover up the writing so you don't know that the paper's upside down. And there is still some to the left of the yellow circle that I don't cover, but I figure that we'll just ignore. We won't look at that, and it's not so plain as it was underneath the smile here. And then I added some florals and scattered them around. At the bottom I put "You make me so happy," and on the photo it says "Life is good, enjoy the moment and laugh." So, and then lastly, I'm putting my enamel dots around, since that is the Scraptember prompt for today. And so I put them all around in little clusters from the top there, and then around by the VW bus, and then around the umbrella, which again, the other thing too is the umbrella is not really necessary for this page, but I really liked it on here. And I did put the umbrella and the VW bus, and then the two clouds and the smile title. I did pop those all up on foam just to give it some dimension. And then the only chipboard item that I got on here was the camera. But that's going to be it, guys. Thank you again for liking and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit those buttons. Make sure you check out all the information below about Scraptember. There's a playlist. You can go and see what everyone did with their enamel dots for today and all the other inspiration that you can get from the playlist. And I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.